My name is Gilbert Marosi, and I'm going to be talking about to you today about what happened to me on a property which I bought back on September of 2013. I told this story before, and it took like about 25 minutes, and I think I went overboard. And this time I'm going to keep it fairly short. There are going to be episodes, one after the other. But anyway, what happened is that 2013, my lady real estate, Kathleen Starr, she she told me, she discovered, like a wonderful property. I was not going to believe it. And she told me it was a property of 153 acres with 40 cabins with a private well and a spring and a pool and 40 cabins in the hills, Almaden Valley. I thought, well, how much is it? I asked Kathleen. She said $5 million. I said, my God, it's too good to be true. And we proceeded. And to make a long story short, I bought the property. And this being a property up in the hills and belonging to the county, I didn't know anything about it. Whatever properties I had bought, it was properties in the city. But anyway, I bought it. I mean, we September in September of 2013, we closed, and everything was hunky dory. The property was kind of run down, and that's my cup of tea. Like a tender TLC. Tender loving care. And I proceeded, to fix it, and apparently, the water from the well, which is overlooked by the California water boards, and they inspected it, like every month, and everything went fine. I gradually upgraded, raised the rents, to justify, my rent increases. People left, and then I started renting, and so on and so forth. So everything was going hunky dory. And over the years, I had no problems, with the county, no problems with the water boards, and everything was fine until November of 2016. In November of 2016, there was a fire, the Loma Prieta fire, which was real close, to my property of Twin Creeks. And what happened, I wasn't quite aware of it, but what happened is that apparently the fire, it got real close, and the firemen, they went and busted some of my pipes, supplying water, to the tenants. And what happened is that, the E. coli, got into the water and essentially poisoned my water. Okay, so I found out about this, like big problem. Now I had to switch over to the spring, and I also I put up a tank, a water tank, which I bought water, to supply water, like to the tenants, and look to solve the problem, like for the E. coli, detect, where the break was, and so on and so forth, and put in some kind of chemicals to essentially clean up the water. Well, just right about then, what I didn't know, there was an undercurrent. There was a conspiracy between an agency called Open Space, who owns, like a whole bunch of land, like in Santa Clara County, and the county. Well, Open Space wanted to buy Twin Creeks, added, to their land. but they didn't want to pay, what, the 8 million, which Jack Minkel, the owner, wanted, for his property. So then they decided, they were going to go ahead and, see if they could get it on the cheap. Well, what happened essentially is that, when the county found out about the water infestation with E. coli, then, that's where they got their chance. And then they started hassling me about I didn't have a water permit, and I was not allowed to use the spring, and so on and so forth. And me, blaming me, like for the water infestation of E. coli. And they were harping so hard, started posting signs at Twin Creeks property, and stating, that the property was illegal, unlawful, and I didn't have a permit, for the water and so on. And they kept on going, and it was so unbelievably stressful that the tenants, they essentially, kicked out the tenants, like posting signs, says, this property is illegal. Estoy ocupado ahorita.
¿Qué estás haciendo?
Estoy haciendo algo, un video de arte.
Bueno, entonces que en unos 10 minutos ahí te lo pongo entonces. Tengo
Okay.
algo de frío.
Okay.
O espero 10 minutos.
De que sí, ya dame un tiempo. Sorry, my wife was calling me, so I had to find out, what the hell was going on. But anyway, like I say, it got so stressful, for the tenants. My 40 tenants, they illegally kicked them out. People, this thing is that realize that this property was legal since 1923. Okay, so how come, like all of a sudden, like in almost 100 years later, they say, geez, it ain't legal no more. Okay, it's unlawful. Okay, so kick everybody out and ruin me. Well, that's exactly, what the hell happened. They sued me, and I had to sell the property, and guess what? To Open Space bought it for 2.8 million, and I had paid 5 million, and altogether, with the expenses, legal expenses, which came, like to about $500,000. I lost about $10 million. All right. So now what do? Well, then I will continue this. This is the first chapter, and I will continue this. Like in another video. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.